I would love to hear a word about how you're feeling right now. We're gonna do this at the start, and then we're gonna do this at the end. So I wanna do this little bit of a check-in to give us this space to go, okay, how am I feeling right now? If I was gonna go into myself. So those of us who are very feminine based and very empathic based and very sensitive based, this is an opportunity to go, okay, let me move out of everything else and everyone else that I've been feeling into, and let me just take a moment to go in. So this is the moment to totally bring your awareness and your focus in. And then we'll do this again at the end. I want to just give us this space to reflect. And all of these episodes and these lives and times that we gather like this, it's about you. It's about giving you a space to be with you, to maybe see some things that you haven't seen before, to open to some new things, to even maybe do some shadow work. I don't know what's going to happen today. But just this opportunity, if you feel to share in the comments here on the live or in the comments below, share before and after. So this is kind of like a before snapshot and an after snapshot, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be very different, I think, for all of us. But just really want to give us this moment to just check in, just a quick check-in, and also this moment to really reel it in. To really reel it in. I know that many of us hold so many responsibilities, and we're holding many people in our lives, and we're loving many people, and we're out here and we're out there and we're feeling into that and we're feeling into that, but just this is our time. And that's the other thing I want to encourage everyone here is let this be your time. Like, let this serve you in the way that it will most serve you. Maybe it's watching the replay again a little bit later. Maybe it's then listening to this on the podcast later. Maybe it's you have to switch off other distractions. Maybe it's you go to a different room right now. But just that check-in of, like, I'm about to go into some pretty wild feminine territory. Some pretty wild feminine territory. I mean, I just wrote an email. I mean, if you're part of our community and you get our emails, you'll have seen, like I wrote in the title, this is the #1 most ferocious feminine archetype, right? It's like ego slayer, little self-egoic destroyer. With love, with grace-filled love. This is high, potent energy, but it's fierce. It's fierce grace. It's fierce grace. It's intense. And sometimes when these parts of self are getting excavated, it doesn't feel that good. It doesn't feel that good. So feeling into that as just a little bit of a snapshot of what we're walking into together today, and then going, is there something I can do in this moment to support myself? My aim is to make this kind of a journey, to be experiential. And I also said in the email and in our Facebook group, and if you're not in those places, go to our website, rewildingforwomen.com, subscribe, then you get the notifications when we're going live and kind of little tidbits on how to work with energy and just other stuff, conversations happen in our Facebook group around this to support, to hold, to deepen what we're doing. All of that stuff is free. All of that stuff is free, right? That's because we love our community. So if you're not in those places, it would be an honor. But in that email, I was sharing that one of my intentions in this particular live or podcast, if you're listening later, is to give as much as I can in our kind of 40 minutes together around how to work with this energy and open to the grace of it, like the love, the grace of it, versus battling it, struggling through it, fighting with it. Because it can be that much more tumultuous, and we can miss the gifts of this. Kali in her purest form, Kali, that's where we're going, in case you just jumped on. Kali in her purest form wants nothing but your everything, wants you expressing, living everything that you are, everything. That's all she wants. All she wants is you in your full gloriousness, you fully being you, fully expressed, soul aligned, heart blasted open, fully in alignment with who you are, true north, soul self, you being you, fully in this world, you gifting this world with your love, with your everything. That's what she's doing. That's what the part that gets ferocious and intense and tumultuous and challenging and sometimes painful is that she will stop at nothing to give that to you. She will orchestrate the craziest life situations to give that to you. That's the gift of her. She will take you to the deepest, most intense karmic knots that you've got, to loosen them and release them and liberate you from having to live out old patterns that don't serve. That family patterns, ancestral patterns, past life patterns, this life patterns, old traumas, old wounds that have created weird coping mechanisms or weird survival patterns that maybe were beautiful when we were 5, but are not beautiful when we're 45. They are actually limiting the amount of love that we're able to give and receive. They're limiting the amount of authentic truth we're able to live in the world. This is Kali. This is her. Not, I actually should say, I just need to touch on this for a moment. These very immature conversations about Kali and wild woman and fierce goddess, and where she's actually, the energy of this aspect of the feminine is actually used in a self-righteous way to give us an excuse to express toxic feminine, to that like real righteousness, right? And we see it on social media is rampant with it. Our world is rampant with this energy is awakened, but it's not purified yet. This Shakti, this energetics coming through a human being requires so much psycho-spiritual purification. It requires so much letting go of little false self, so much letting go of little needy self, of safety, security stuff, of little false egoic self. That's her gift. That's her gift. And until there's like a level of this purification that's happened, this cleaning out, this, I don't even know a better word for purification other than that. You can insert other words. So by the way, I'm going to say words that are going to probably trigger you, probably piss you off, maybe not resonate. Insert other words or be triggered and see that the trigger it's a thing, right? Like I started doing this in the last couple of lives of just sort of, as I'm setting the stage for this, just really hold it. And this is part of Kali, really holding yourself to deep truth. Like you hold yourself to your inner fire of truth, like a sacred fire of truth, not self-righteous little girl kind of truth. It's this sovereign, full woman kind of truth. I'm standing in wisdom as like crone wisdom, and I am okay to see self. I'm okay to hold myself to the fire. Like we are all asked to hold ourselves to the fire with love and compassion. If we don't have this non-judgmental space of love and compassion, like we can't hold ourselves to the fire because we're gonna just judge the crap out of ourselves and to do all sorts of other things that just like cause more of the hidden, more of the shadow to manifest itself, right? So, let me talk about a tiny little bit. I know that these podcasts and these live streams, they stay for months, sometimes years, some of them stay around. But I want to touch in on this moment in time. This December 2020. I have never Never seen astrology this heavy on the dark goddess. Never, never. Kali asteroid is conjunct this eclipse. So this is a monster eclipse happening on the 14th of December. The Kali asteroid is conjunct it, I think by 3 degrees. 3 degrees. Not only is she conjunct the eclipse, which is enormous. Eclipse energy is just blasts everything open. Like it's gonna shine a light on everything hidden, truths being revealed, what's getting eclipsed in, what's getting eclipsed out of your life. Eclipses are intense, they're wild, they're quick, it's rapid fire. It's the craziest sort of things can happen. The most like lightning bolt-like energy can happen in the physical. It's not just in a dream state. It's that like the door is wide open for this intense, transformative, alchemizing, dramatic energy to manipulate the physical world. That's where I was saying at the start, like this capacity to deliver on a silver platter exactly what serves you to grow, to evolve, to move to the next level of your awareness, your awakening, your vibration, your next level of love. And it's oftentimes not super sweet and gentle and fluffy and unicorns and all of that stuff, because she needs to get to your deepest, darkest stuff. And typically, we don't go to our deepest, darkest stuff unless we're kind of being forced to, unless we get so uncomfortable, right? We will stay norm, same. Typically, it's just our human nature. It's how we're wired. It's our chemistry. It's our physiology. It's all of those things until that gets so uncomfortable that change feels better, right? That's something it's so uncomfortable. I can't handle the uncomfort anymore. I can't handle the fire anymore. So I'm gonna open the door to a new way, a different way, maybe a more evolved way, a more love-filled way, a more enlightened way, a different way. It's a time of breaking out of old patterns, a time of really putting everything in the spotlight, and asking, does this still serve? It maybe served last week, right? It was maybe still serving last week. That way of operating in the world, that way of loving your partner, that way of raising your babies, that way of responding to that particular energy, that way of running your business. It now might not be integrous anymore. It now might not be the deepest truth, the most authentic expression of you. And it maybe was just last week. Just last week, it was maybe still that. That's this energy. That's Kali. That's eclipse. That's Kali. That's dark goddess ferociousness. That's this moment. That's it. And I also trust that if you're listening to this in a month from now or a year from now, you're not here out of a coincidence. There are no synchronicities. Can we just stop pretending like they're a coincidence? Oh, it's just a great synchronicity. Yeah, it's divine timing. It's divine. So you're here on this live because you're meant to be here on this live. You're here listening to the podcast a year later, 5 years later, because this is the time that you are meant to be here. That's how she operates in the world. That's the grace. It's the grace of the divine feminine. That's the grace of Kali. It's the grace. It's so high voltage and so wise. We cannot comprehend it. We cannot comprehend that. The mind cannot go anywhere near this territory. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near this height, this wisdom. Nowhere near. We sometimes, after a lot of work, get hints of it. Or we sometimes see like that, I sometimes call it the divine matrix or like the grid. We sometimes get little glimpses of it. Like sometimes. And some of us live in it to different degrees than others, but it takes a complete rewiring of our brain. Our Western world, our cultures, our society, like common, I don't even know what word I want to use. The collective, let's use the collective. I'm so sick of all these same words I use all of the time. I need a whole new language to start expressing things. But the collective mind has no idea. None. we weren't trained to go here. We are evolving to go there. We are learning to go there. We are learning to open those capacities. It's like human potential. Human potential. We are living at like 1% of our ultimate potential, of what we can see, tap into, the intuition, what we know, how we can read the whole grid of the world, how we can follow soul, how we can love. We're at like 1% of our potential, right? And part of the grace of the whole divine feminine. So when you're working with Shakti, Shakti is the embodied energy of divinity. It's the embodied energy of the divine. It's that high of wisdom. It's the thing that keeps you alive. It's the thing that makes a baby in your womb. It's that. And when you're consciously working with that, you're working with it in your body. So there's no place that energy doesn't access, doesn't transform, doesn't evolve, doesn't enlighten, doesn't enliven, doesn't move it up to the next level of aliveness, of awareness, of wisdom. There's nowhere that she doesn't go. There's nowhere that Shakti doesn't go. There's nowhere that this divine energy, we don't have to call it feminine. I know we get so hung up on feminine. This divine life force energy that flows through you, this wisdom energy, there's nowhere that it doesn't go. But how many of us are consciously working with it? This is an energy that will shift everything in your life. Every illness, every sickness, every weird karmic crap that you're playing out, every psychological weird thing, every emotional block and strain and everything. Every level, muscular, bone, into the marrows of your bone, into the nervous system of your body. There's everywhere. Everywhere. There's scientific proof finally coming through that we can change our DNA, right? And when we work consciously with this wisdom energy in our bodies, you can shift any DNA in your body, any DNA, any ancestral patterning, any of it. You can turn back like aging. Like this is not real. It's not real, but it's just learning and opening those doors to working with this energy, to consciously working with this wisdom in our bodies, the wisdom that created you, the wisdom that keeps you alive, the wisdom that keeps your heart pumping, that keeps you breathing. When we start to work with that, and we work with that intentionally, and we work with that from a devotion place, and from a love place, and from a surrendered, I know we all love that word in here. Every time I say that, I think I get like 1,000 comments of like, I'm not surrendering. Yeah, well, you're also not gonna fully wake up to the potentials of Shakti, because it takes a letting go. It takes a letting go of the control that we like to think that we have. It takes a letting go of the seemingly safety and security that we think we've created in our minds, in our lives, in our bodies. And Kali, she will take you to your knees to show you that your little brain is not in charge, that your little egoic self is not in charge, that your soul is playing a part, that there is something so much greater moving you. Destiny, you start talking about destiny, you start talking about soul, you start talking about that. That's what she is working to put in the driver's seat of your life. Everything that she delivers is to put that high of wisdom, your soul, into the driver's seat. And then little self, pattern self, habitual self, egoic self, false self, gets in the passenger seat. We don't want to obliterate egoic self, right? Like, ego serves a purpose. Ego is beautiful, but in service to soul, in service to your higher self, or the divinity in you, or whatever, high spirit self, whatever it is, word again, insert your own word there. In service to that, living life from that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine living life? Can you imagine your relationships that are soul-led, that are heart and soul-led, that are in such alignment with true self, such alignment with high spirit self. Can you just, that, all of what she brings in her fierceness, in her wildness, in her giving you a life tsunami, ripping the things you are most attached to away from you, not to be nasty or mean or make you cry, to give you this. It's what she's always saying. There's so much more. There's so much more to you, to life, to living, to expressing, to love, to truth, to relationship, to sex, to babies, to work, to service in the world. There is so much more. That's her. That's Kali. That's Kali. That's Kali. She's one of the highest level archetypes that you can work with. Highest vibrating archetypes, feminine archetypes you can work with. Like Venus, Aphrodite, Athena, love them. They have great, beautiful gifts. Nowhere near the heights, the spiritual heights. We're talking high spiritual truths. High spiritual truths. That's Kali. That's Kali. There are very few feminine archetypes, goddesses, that hold that high of a vibration, that hold divinity that fully, and that will work that hard. This is her. She will work that hard to help you get there. She will work that hard to help you get there. That's her gift. That's her gift. All this other stuff is like child's play. Where I'm Kali, like, it's child's play. That's I don't know what that is. It's child's play. That's her. That's her. That's her. To liberate you from everything that stops you from that. To free you from the deepest, most hidden, oldest, densest, toughest knots and blocks and habitual patterns from not just this life, but the whole line, the whole soul line, all the way back, the whole ancestral line. There's nowhere she won't go. There's nowhere she won't go. Can you see how the mind can't go anywhere near that territory? It can't go anywhere near that. The mind can't even get into past life territory typically. Some of us get little hits of past life, and most of us just, we're making stuff up anyways, but it's fine. Like some of it serves, some of it's just a really great story. The mind cannot translate, and it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. Let the mind translate when it serves. Let it translate into thought and words when it serves, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't always have to, and I see that as one of the biggest blocks to working with these high archetypes, with these high Shaktis, with this level. Oh, wow, that was fun. Because it's so intensely, ferociously Kali this month. We did a Kali online retreat in January of last year, and I felt into, do we do another Kali retreat? Do we hold a space and really open the doors to this? And it was, no, we've done that. It's there. It's there. So, and I know that some of you have seen the Kali online retreat. Some of you have seen the coupon code that we just put out today. We like 25% off for those who want to do the Kali online retreat. And I'm not saying it's going to be for you. I am not at all saying it's going to be for you in any way, shape, or form. It was just our way of supporting this intensity. Our way of supporting this eclipse season, this end to a really intense year. I mean, how have we done a 2020 and then we end? We end with this amount of ferocious, beautiful, glorious, but holding us to the fire kind of a truth. And when we are not working with it consciously, and you'll see this, so you can watch for this too over the next couple of weeks. Watch yourself for sure, but also just watch for it in your world. Watch for it in your world. Imagine like your partner, your friend, your mom, your dad, we're all in this energy. We're all in this energy, and it's all Kali and 5 other dark goddesses. So let's also just be totally honest about this astrology. There's all of the big heavy hitters are in heightened places in the astrology. All of them, all of the big heavy hitters, all of them. Hecate, Persephone, Lilith, Black Moon, Medusa. Did I say Persephone? Kali, all of them. I'm not joking. And it's so grace-filled, but it's an intensity that is gonna most likely flip a whole lot of people's lives and emotional systems, spiritual systems, mental systems into some pretty interesting states. Psychic self-care, really, really good. Big, wild, loud movements, right? Kali, you often see her depicted as standing and dancing wildly on top of Shiva, dancing wildly on top of what is the divine masculine, what is consciousness itself, like dancing wildly. Find ways to move the energy. It's a purging, it's a purification. It's on the south node. South node is your most karmic, horrendous-y stuff that you've come. I talk about karmic backpack. That's your south node, and you can walk into that territory. We don't need to walk into it. It's like the backpack is being opened in this eclipse. Like here's where you have a witch wound. Here's where you were a sacred prostitute and you've got some residual leftover stuff. Here's where you tried to serve the world and they all killed you and you've got a Christ wound. Here's where you've got sister wound and mother wound from all of those past lives. It's just right here. In there is also the wisdom, though, the wisdom of the ages, the wisdom, your whole soul line's wisdom, oftentimes buried under all of the rubble and all of that stuff, but totally open. And so finding ways to move big energy, holding space for both and. So I know I'm asking us to hold ourselves to the truth, to keep going higher and higher and higher and higher, not spiritual bypassing. Nine. Kali will never let you spiritual bypass. She will get you a puke bucket so you can puke it out physically before she'll let you spiritually bypass. She just won't. She's a lower chakra, clearer outer, opener upper, right? Like she will dance in those lower chakras until you are vomiting your guts out. She will rip out like the whole of your intestines just to purify them. Just go like, let's just clean these up a little bit. You got some residual stuff here sitting in your intestines. It's just really old. You don't need that anymore. It's kind of mucking up your life and you're doing all this like weird stuff around money because you just got some stuff in your intestines. Let's just get that out of there, right? That's Kali. So very, very, very embodied. Very, very, very embodied. Very much movement, sacred movement, wild movement, raw movement, making lots of sounds, getting into the lower chakras, right? That's really, really beautiful for a Kali time, is that. Friends, fierce grace friends who hold you accountable, not the friends that buy into your old story, not the friends because we've all got them. We've all got the friends who will support little self. They'll support false self. They'll support your righteousness. You're right, your partner's an asshole. How many of us have those? We've all got those friends. They just love us. They think they're doing the best for us. And you know when to go to those friends. When you want little self supported, little self needs a little bit of support. You need to feel like you're right. And then your boss is an asshole. Yeah, your partner's a complete dick. Never mind your part to play in it. Not those friends during this time. It's the soul friends. It's the soul friends. The soul friends who can be radically honest with you. This is so powerful because it's like asking ourselves to see I always think of this it's like asking a sick mind to see that it's sick. Like a sick mind can't see that it's sick. You're asking an unconscious mind to see the unconscious parts. It's tough. Yeah, we get insights. Yeah, when we do big spiritual practices, yes, we get into those places. Yes, when we're in big spaces, we get into them. Yes, it happens. But it's also really beautiful to have a guide, to have someone holding you there, someone pointing it out, someone who continually takes you there, takes you there, takes you there, takes you there. Because we've built up lifetimes of patterns to not go there. We've built up armoring. We've built up defenses and boundaries and barriers and armor to not go there, to not go there. And we don't even know where there is. We don't even know it's there. We can't even see it. And so having guides or mentors or teachers who know this territory intimately, who have been burnt a billion times. Like if they haven't been kind of puking their guts out, having their entrails ripped out, purified, put back in 1,000 times over, they probably should not be holding space for this territory. I'm not joking. If they have not had some very serious, very physical, very lower chakra purification, if they have not been working with Shakti and specifically dark goddess energy for a long period of time, probably not a good place to go. Probably not a good place to go. So those spaces are really good. And those friends who, with love and compassion, not with nastiness, I call them Anamkara soul friends, because they are holding that same thread that like Kali is holding for you. It's your soul's evolution. They hold that for you. And they're not afraid to tell you something along the lines of, hey, I kind of am seeing this pattern thing play out. Kind of seeing that there might be a different, I mean, my friends don't talk to me like that. There's no kind of. They're just sort of like, hey, Sabrina, I'm pretty sure you're doing that thing. Like that thing where you just spin around in a circle and you chase your tail and you create all sorts of crazy chaos in your world, and then you tell yourself a story to rationalize why you just did all of that, or to rationalize why you shut your heart down, or why you've just done whatever you've done. Pretty sure you're doing that, Sabrina. Like, oh, I love you, my friend. Like, yes, you're right. Thank you. Look, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. I just needed someone to shine a light on it, to hold the torch of light, love light, to shine a love light on it, right? Yeah, that's really a beautiful, beautiful thing for this moment in time. Really watch your projections, really watch your triggers, watch what's pissing you off, watch what's making you super sad, watch when you're closing, watch what's closing you down, right? Contraction, closing, right? You're shutting off, you're closing down. Watch, we're all at very different degrees of knowing thyself, right? Watch, we all have very different ways of, or very different feels around what contraction feels like for us. For me, I just get super solidly independent, right? So that's one of my markers, is when I go into, all right, I'm just gonna get really independent, I'm gonna make shit happen, and I'm gonna just kind of, I don't even know other words to kind of put to that. I could, but we don't need to go into my crap. It's us all feeling into, how does contraction look like for us? Do I withdraw from the world? Right? I'm not saying withdrawing is not good. Withdrawing can be the highest serving thing on the planet, but is it a contraction thing that you do? Is withdrawing, is getting needy, clingy a contraction for you? So feeling, like really owning it. I mean, this is, the invitation here is like holding ourselves to the fire of truth, because that's where the gifts are. That's where the gifts are. That's where we have this capacity to transmute and alchemize some of the deepest shit in our systems right now. Some of the deepest stuff that's holding you back and has been holding you back your whole life and will continue to hold you back the rest of your life. And we've got this window, we've got this space, we've got this time to transmute it, And so this just invitation to really, really hold ourselves, to really use this time. I mean, this could be the deepest retreat time of your life. It could be the most transformative couple of weeks of your life. I am not kidding. It could completely shift your sexuality, your relationship to your body, your relationship, your career, your life path, your destiny. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not even a little bit. not even a little. That's Shakti. And there's this part of me like, how does the world not know about this yet? How does the world not know that this is possible? And I totally understand, right? On the high level, we come to it when we come to it. We see it when we see it. The teacher appears when the student is ready. All of those beautiful things. But there's this other part of me like, who's just like blown apart by how are we still living in a world that we don't know how to consciously work with Shakti? How are we still living in a world where we don't know how to lean into this enormous healing, alchemizing, love-filled, grace-filled, spiritual, enlightening energy? How do we not know that? How are we not teaching our babies that in school? How are we not going to like weekly meetings on this? What? Can you see like soul purpose lines are lit up? You just heard mine. Like you just heard a part of like my soul purpose. Just what am I here to do? How does my soul want to express itself in the world? How does my soul want to serve in the world? And you can hear it in the passion and just this like, what? How is this not already a thing? How is this? I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do everything I can to make that happen. So in doing my part to do everything I can to make that happen, we're gonna keep doing big, beautiful programs. We're gonna keep doing retreats. We're gonna keep doing things like that. We have a really big program that I just announced today. It's the Advanced Women's Immersion. It's a year-long program. It's definitely not for everybody. It's going into the sacred feminine. It's going into places of being able to live from soul. So everything we talked about today around you live from this place, you can live from this place, from that place. It's that. It's opening up those capacities. It's living from that place. And we all have had to have done a certain amount of work to step into that, right? A certain amount of awakening, of purifying, of embodiment work, of all of that sort of stuff to even get close to living from that. But that's something that's coming up. I don't know if one of the beautiful women, Leo or Malia, could leave a link for that. And then also the Kali online retreat. So if you're feeling Kali, or you're like, okay, I would love a guide to take me into parts that I can't get myself into, or I don't have an Anamkara, a soul friend who's gonna call me out. This is a beautiful option. It's a beautiful option. I won't say anything more. Just go feel into it. Again, it's not going to be for everybody, but it's just an offering. It's a space that we're holding. It's something that we created that was really big, and it's all Kali. I think it's a 5-day retreat. So that's happening. And everything else, I don't know yet. I don't know. It's coming. Very much feeling this new chapter. This eclipse is a new moon eclipse. So really, really feeling that new chapter. That's on the 14th of December, on the 20th of December, 20th, 21st, depending on, 20th, 21st, depending on where you're at, 21st for the US, 20th for Australia. I'm living in two worlds right now. I feel like I'm half in Australia for some reason. I think this is because this is the time of year that I normally would go to Australia. But on that day is when Saturn, who is currently conjunct Jupiter, it's a father-son dynamic. So that's also playing out, father-son dynamic. Yeah, so you might be seeing that or feeling that in either your own masculine or in like the masculine in the world, or masculine in like the men, even the women, but there's a father-son huge thing playing out. They move into Aquarius, and that, many are saying that's the mark of kind of the final piece of moving into the age of Aquarius. This is a wild time. It's a wild and beautiful and auspicious and very spiritual, very high level, very powerful time. And it doesn't have to wipe us out. It doesn't have to obliterate us. It doesn't have to wipe us out. We can work very consciously with this. We can work from a grace place. We can work from a very aligned place, a very true place, a very deep place. It does not have to be getting kicked in the head and vomiting in a bucket. It does not have to be that. It might be that, and that might be the thing that serves the most. It might be. But the more that we work consciously with it, the less we're going to be surprised by a life tsunami showing up in our faces, right? The more that we can keep that bird's eye view and we can see, wow, this really wild physical world situation that's just showed up, this is the greatest gift that I could receive in this moment. It's horrific and it's freaking out my inner child. It's kicking up all my mother wounding. It's kicking up my sister wound. It's kicking up my heart closure. But this is really the greatest gift because there's nothing else that could take me to this place, right? If we can keep that bird's eye view, and this is that both and, so I'll finish on this both and piece. So not denying the emotions that come with it, not denying the challenge that comes with it, not denying like what little self needs to express or needs to do, not denying that, but not solely swimming in that. I see that so often, and this is part of a gift of Kali, is like, yeah, have your tantrum, but you're not gonna swim in your tantrum and I feel so sorry for myself and your victimhood and your whatever it is that's coming up. I'm not going to let you swim there. I'm going to ask you to mature. I'm going to ask you to come up to this place because there's a higher place. So both and, making space for both and. And that's that part of not, what's that word again? Spiritual bypassing. Not, right? Both and, holding space for both and, keeping the witness consciousness that's watching, very aware. I'm having a tantrum, call it out. My little self just needs to have a fit, right? Great, have the awareness of it. Let her dance wildly, let her like spin around in a circle, let her have her little tantrum, let your little girl, like wail on the floor and pound her fist and like, man, life isn't fair, or whatever she needs to do. Be aware, right? Just, if we can just keep that, just remember, keep that, keep coming up to bird's eye view. Let me see the big picture. And be around people who remind you of the big picture. Listen to things that remind you of the big picture. Read books that remind you of the big picture. Hang out with friends that remind you of the big picture, right? Yeah. All right, beautiful, amazing souls. This was a gift. This was an absolute gift to be here with you in this way. So huge gratitude. If you liked this video, if it served you in any way, we would love a thumbs up. We would love a share on social media. We would love all of that. That means a lot to us and it helps us, right? It helps me. Like, let me just totally personalize it for a minute. It helps me do my work in the world. It helps me, right? I'm talking about that soul line. How does the world not know about this yet? How do we not know that there's this greater way? How do we not know how to work with this wisdom in our bodies? How do we not know Shakti? How do we not know the divine feminine? It helps in tremendous ways. Every little thing, every comment on the blog, the podcast, every share, every review, every link, every like, all of those things help. And I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for it because without you, kind of can't do what I do either, right? Like, we're all in this together. Doing our thing, serving in the way we're meant to serve, expressing our souls in the way we're meant to express our souls with each other. I get to do it with you. You get to do it with me. You get to do it with your partner, your babies, or your career. Like, we are all in this thing together. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm just really, really, really honored to get to do this with you all. So I would love to see you on the Kali online retreat. If that sings, if the advanced women's immersion is something that you're like, ooh, what's that? Love for you to feel into that and see if that's something that's singing to soul. It's going to sing to a different place in self. It's going to sing to soul. All right, I will see you. We will be here live next week. I think we're going to take a break for Christmas though, so possibly, who knows, but we'll be here live on Saturday next week. And I will see you where I see you, when I see you, and how I see you. So much love to all of you.